If you are quietly holding on to hope, even when nothing is changing, don't skip this. Asterisk. There is a quiet kind of regret that doesn't shout, it doesn't scream, it doesn't knock things over or demand attention, it doesn't collapse you to the floor, it whispers, it slips into your thoughts when the world finally grows still, when the noise of the day fades, when no one is asking anything from you, it shows up late at night, when the lamp is dim, when the clock ticks louder than it should, and you find yourself staring at the ceiling, asking a question you never say out loud. What if my moment already passed? Not dramatically, not angrily, just quietly, maybe. You felt it. You think about the road you didn't take, not because you were lazy, but because you were. Careful, responsible, afraid of making the wrong move. You think about the conversation you were too afraid to start, the one that might have changed everything, or might have changed nothing at all. You think about the skill you meant to learn someday, when life slowed down, when things felt safer, when you felt more ready, and slowly, without realizing it, you begin to believe something dangerous. That chance was for other people, not for me. You tell yourself it's realism, maturity, acceptance, but deep down, it feels like something else, it feels like closing a door, while pretending it was never meant to be opened. But the truth is this: life doesn't announce its turning points, it doesn't send warnings, it doesn't give reminders, and it certainly doesn't wait until you feel confident. This is the story of a man who believed his life had settled into something small, only to learn that preparation has a strange way of calling opportunity back, even when you think it has forgotten your name. In a quiet town surrounded by open fields and long dirt roads, there lived a man named Samuel. Samuel was not remarkable. That's important to say. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't influential. He wasn't especially gifted in the way people usually admire. He worked as a clerk in a modest supply store, the kind of place people visited out of necessity, not excitement. Rope hung from wooden beams, nails sat in open crates, grain sacks lined the walls. The smell of dust and iron lived permanently in the air. Samuel had worked there for nearly 20 years. Every morning before the sun fully rose, he unlocked the door. Every evening, he swept the same worn wooden floor. Every season passed in familiar patterns. Spring brought mud. Summer brought heat. Autumn brought quiet. Winter brought long nights. To most people, Samuel's life looked finished. Not tragic. Not broken. Just settled. But once long ago, Samuel had dreamed of something else. As a young man, Samuel had wanted to become a teacher, not for prestige, not for recognition, but because he loved understanding. He loved books that smelled faintly of old paper. He loved the moment when confusion turned into clarity. He loved explaining something difficult in a way that made it feel simple. He loved watching someone's eyes change when they finally got it. But life had intervened. It often does. His father became ill. Medical bills arrived. Time grew tight. Responsibility arrived before opportunity did. So Samuel took the store job for now. Just until things stabilized. Just until life allowed more room. And for now, quietly became years, then decades. Most men in Samuel's position would have let go of that dream. They would have folded it neatly, placed it somewhere out of reach, and told themselves it belonged to another version of life. But Samuel did something unusual. Every night, after dinner, after the dishes were cleaned and the house grew quiet, he opened a book. Sometimes it was history. Sometimes mathematics. Sometimes literature. He read slowly. Carefully. He underlined passages. He wrote small notes in the margins. He copied sentences by hand into worn notebooks, not because anyone asked him to. Not because it earned him anything, but because learning made him feel awake. Like some part of him was still alive and listening. People in town noticed. They found it strange. What's the point? They'd say, you're not going anywhere. You've already chosen your life. You're too old to start over. Samuel would only smile. He never argued. He never explained. Himself, he didn't need to. He just kept reading. Years passed. The town changed. The same faces, the same routines, the same. Samuel grew older. His hair thinned. Lines settled around his eyes. Some nights, doubt crept in. He would sit by the lamp, the light casting long shadows, and think, who am I preparing for? What am I waiting on? Why do I keep doing this? There were no guarantees. No promises. Just habit. Just hope, quiet and stubborn. Still, he kept his books neat. His notes organized. His mind sharp. He didn't know why. He only knew that. Giving up felt worse than continuing. One autumn afternoon, something unexpected happened. A storm moved through the town with unusual force. Rain fell hard. Wind tore at old wood. By morning, the old schoolhouse at the edge of town was damaged. The roof leaked. Windows cracked. Classes were suspended. Parents grew worried. Children fell behind. The town council gathered and quickly realized they had a problem. There was no substitute teacher available. The nearest city was days away. Winter was approaching. During the meeting, someone mentioned Samuel. The store clerk? Another asked. Yes, came the reply. He's always reading, always studying. The room grew quiet. The idea felt risky. Samuel had never taught formally. He had no title. No position. But time was short. So they went to him. Samuel was restocking shelves when they arrived. When they explained the situation, he didn't speak right away. He felt fear rise in his chest. What if I fail them? What if I embarrass myself? What if this proves everyone right? Then something else surfaced. All those nights. All those books. All that preparation done in silence. He took a breath. I can try, he said. The next morning, Samuel stood in front of a room full of children. Old wooden desks. Cold air slipping through cracked windows. His hands trembled. His voice nearly did. But once he began speaking, something settled. He explained patiently. He asked questions. He waited for answers. He taught the way he had practiced in his mind for years. The children leaned forward. They listened. They understood. They smiled. Word spread. Parents noticed changes. Students improved. Attendance rose. What was meant to be temporary became something more. When the schoolhouse was repaired, the town faced another decision. They could bring in someone new. Or they could ask Samuel to stay. That evening, Samuel walked home slowly. The same road. The same fields. But everything felt different. Not because life had suddenly been kind, but because he had been ready when it finally spoke. Samuel didn't become famous. He didn't leave town, but he lived the rest of his life doing what once felt impossible. And when someone later asked him, how did this happen so late? Samuel answered simply, it didn't happen late. I was just early for a very long time. And this is where the story becomes about you. Because right now, you may feel unseen. Delayed. But hear this clearly. Preparation is never wasted. Skills you practice when no one applauds. The discipline you keep when no one notices. The effort you make when nothing seems to change. That is not lost time. That is quiet readiness. Opportunity doesn't come when you feel confident. It comes when you are living your ordinary life. And when it does, it asks only one question. Are you ready? If this story found you at the right moment, pass it on. Someone you know may still be preparing in silence. And ask yourself tonight, what is one small thing you can prepare for, even if no one ever notices? Because readiness has a way of being remembered. Asterisk, if this touched your heart, let it remind you, your story isn't finished.